Welcome to another edition of Teach the Geek interviews. My name is Neil Thompson. I'm the founder of Teach the Geek. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Today, my guest is Maureen Zappala. She is a professional speaker, author, and imposter syndrome expert. Now, she's been a speaker for some time. Let's get her thoughts on picking a speaking topic, marketing yourself as a speaker, pricing services, and a bunch of other speaker related topics. So let's get to it. Welcome to Teach the Geek interviews, Maureen.
Thanks, Neil. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
You got it. So before you became a professional speaker, what type of work did you do?
I was an engineer. I was actually a rocket scientist for NASA, if you can believe it.
Oh,
I
sure.
I know it's kind of funny. My degree is in mechanical engineering. Got a job out of college at NASA doing jet propulsion research for aircraft engines, actually. But aircraft engines, rocket engines, thermodynamically, they're the same. So I call myself a rocket scientist, even though I only worked on aircraft engines. And I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it.
Nice. I mentioned that you speak on imposter syndrome. How did you come to that topic?
I'll give you the short version if I can, because nothing in my world is short when it comes to speaking. Uh, I quit NASA to raise some kids and loved that as well. In the process of doing that, I was teaching a junior high girls Sunday school class. I learned that I had a pretty good presence on stage. Somebody told me I could make money at it. Oh, let me go check that out. I started speaking on leadership, and it was so generic of a topic. I bored myself. I stumbled on a book, and it's called The Secret Thoughts of Successful Women. And even though it has women in the title, it's a book that's really, it appeals to men and women, but it was about imposter syndrome. And that book changed my life. I thought, oh my gosh, that's how I felt at NASA. Imposter syndrome is when you don't feel like you're qualified for the job you have. I felt that at NASA. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing wrong with me. There's a real thing. And I dove into it, studied it, and then developed my programs, and all my marketing is around just being an expert on imposter syndrome.
I'm curious about imposter syndrome, Maureen. So, and you mentioned that what it typically means is you don't feel like you're supposed to be where you are. Is there anything that the organization could have done for you to feel like you belong there?
That's a great question, because imposter syndrome, I believe, does have two sources. There is a personal experience of, oh my gosh, I don't fit in. But there also is some systemic organizational issues that, through no fault of their own, simply exist. I chose a field that is primarily male dominated. So when I walked in and I thought, oh, I'm the only girl, I'm going to feel out of place regardless of my gender, my nationality, my body type, my body size. If anything makes someone feel out of place, and it's not, again, it's not the fault of the organization. It could just simply be a regional accent. It could be that you come from a different country. It could be that you have a physical issue that sets you apart. Anytime you feel out of place, that's the birthplace of imposter syndrome, which leads you to the false conclusion of, I don't fit in, therefore I don't deserve to be here. It's illegitimate and it's irrational. I teach people how to walk that backwards, to get back to the point of, no, I do deserve to be here. I did the work. I've earned the degree, the certification, the promotion, the job, whatever it is, I did the part to earn it. There was definitely some circumstances that work for and against me, but I need to own my part in the process.
Indeed. Yeah, I fully agree with that. When it comes to people or listening or watching this conversation, Maureen, and they have aspirations to be a speaker, I think a lot of times people think about keynoting. So I'm curious, what types of services do you offer as a professional speaker?
I am a fee-based keynote speaker. That is my primary income stream. However, I do offer follow-on products and experiences and opportunities, because there is no way I can communicate everything someone needs to know about imposter syndrome in a 50-minute keynote main stage opening session of a big conference. It's just a teaser. It's like the gateway drug. So that's why I offer extra opportunities. Now, I will do training. I will do breakout sessions. I do have a video series. I've written, got one book out. My next book on imposter syndrome is minutes away from being finished. I just have to get to it. It'll be done by the end of, hopefully the end of this month. But all that to say, I'm a keynote speaker, but I do offer other opportunities for people to learn about imposter syndrome.
Got it. Got it. When it comes to the people who are listening or watching this conversation, Maureen, and they are thinking, okay, now I think I have a topic that I want to speak on. I really want to put myself out there as a speaker. What do they need to have in place for them to really be out there as a professional speaker?
I would suggest it's not a moment in time when you say you're ready. Okay, folks, let's open up the door, hang out my shingle. It is a process. You start with what you have. Who do you know? Do you have video of you speaking? Are you open to speaking for free at local, Kiwanis clubs or networking organizations? We all have to put in stage time to get better at our craft. You develop the craft of speaking, but you also develop the business of speaking, two parallel lanes there. So when you say put it in place, it's like, I don't know, I did it as I was going. I mean, I put things in place as I was running. I didn't have this master plan of, I'm going to have my website, my video, my contact list, my CRM, my email, autoresponder. I'm going to have all that in place before I get started. That stuff all kind of came into place as I was running the journey. Now, I was running the journey, looking left and right to see who can I run with, other professional speakers that I was learning from. I'm part of the National Speakers Association. There's no better organization to teach you the business of speaking. I'm also part of Toastmasters, which taught me the skill of speaking. Like I said, those two parallel paths are really what you need to run on in order to build a business. And the mindset of this is going to be a long haul endeavor. It is not a get rich quick. It is not an overnight success. Patricia Fripp, who's one of my dearest friends in the speaking industry, says overnight success takes on average 15 years to accomplish. So there you go.
Yeah, not quite overnight. For sure. All right. How did you go about marketing yourself as a speaker?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. My speaking engagements land on my calendar probably in one of four different ways. One of them is I do outreach. I look for events or organizations that I'd like to speak for, and I initiate contact with them, and I hopefully cultivate a relationship that ends up with a phone call and a contract. That's one way. I do the work. Second way is my topic is very SEO friendly. People Google it, and my website as well SEO'd. People Google the topic imposter syndrome, they'll land on my website. And if they like what they see and they're looking for a speaker, they call me. The third way is word of mouth. People say, oh, my friend heard you and they recommended you to me. I love that. I love that because that took zero effort on my part and theirs. And then the fourth way is I am grateful to the speaker bureaus that refer me, and they're not agents. They don't represent me. Bureaus pitch me to their clients. And they may pitch me with two or three other people or other speakers, and it's up to the client to make the choice. But still, I have the speaker bureau getting the ear of those clients that I'm not able to get the ear of.
Got it. In the event that the first one you mentioned was outreach, so I suspect that when you reach out to people, there may be instances in which you don't hear back right away or at all, and so you may have to follow
You
up.
think?
How do you go about following up with people?
Well, I don't cold call. I do cold email, and I wouldn't even say cold email. It's a warm email. I have researched, for example, I'll find an event that I think that's a perfect fit. And I do the research on the event first. Who was their keynote? What was their topic? What kind of venue are they at? The venue that they're at will tell you a lot about their budget. If it's a church basement, probably not going to afford me. But if it's, a fancy resort in the Grand Cayman Islands, or even I live here in Vegas, there's all this 4,000 events happening every day. If it's at an event, okay, yeah, they may have a budget. So I just determine if I'm a good fit for them. And then I'll try to find the event organizer, the director of conferences, the person who I guess to be the decision maker. If it's an association, I'll try to go as high up the ladder. I'll initiate contact with the executive director, and I'll just send an email saying, hey, just saw that you are hosting this event. I don't know what your planning timeline is like, but there's different, I'm just kind of throwing wording out. Depending on the situation, the wording is different. I want to find out when they're going to be planning is really what it comes down to. My goal is to get people to look at my demo video, which my demo video it was professionally done. It's really compelling. It's got great video and it tells the story, not of me, but of what people will learn from me. And that's the key. People aren't hiring me because I'm charming and funny on stage. They're hiring me because I have a solution to a problem that they have. So my demo video explains that. If I can get you to watch the video and give me a call, that's 98% of the way down the sales cycle. So that's what I do. But so if I don't hear back from them, to answer your question, I just occasionally will just drop them a little piece of content. Hey, here's an article I read. Here's an article I wrote. I saw this, thought of you. Here's a LinkedIn post that caught my attention. And I'll probably do that 6, 7, 8 times. And if I don't get a response, I kind of set it aside and then go back a few months later when maybe their sales cycle is, or their planning cycle is more in line with me popping up on their radar. The idea is just to kind of stay top of mind. I'm not like, hi, I'm Maureen, hire me. Hi, I'm Maureen, hire me. Hi, I'm Maureen, hire me. It's more of a, hey, here's something for you. Here's something for you. Here's something for you. By the way, I noticed that, imposter syndrome could be an issue in your industry. I think I can help your team solve that.
Nice. When you were speaking, Maureen, you mentioned that you do cold email and not cold calling. Why do you not do cold calling?
People get inundated with cold calls. They get inundated with cold emails as well, but cold calls, occasionally I'll send an email and then follow up with a phone call that said, hey, I sent you an email, just wanted to alert you. But in general, I have found for me in my market, I'm not going to be able to reach the person on phone. I'm always going to, leave a voicemail. And I don't know, I just think I get better response from emails than I do from voicemails. That's just me personally. Other people do it differently. But cold out the gate. No, it's a warm lead because I've researched the organization, the event, even that person. I'll go find them on LinkedIn and find out, oh my gosh, look, we grew up in the same town. Or, oh, I love Dalmatians too. Anything to make that kind of personal connection.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the personal connection because I was messaging someone yesterday or earlier, a few days ago, about balancing personalization and relevance and what that balance needs to be. Because I suspect you could personalize something all you want, but if what you're talking about isn't really relevant to them, it doesn't matter. And
Absolutely.
you can have all the relevance you want, but some people, they really do need to feel like that outreach was more than a cut and paste message that you just send to a bunch of people. And
Yep.
and to make that to create that balance takes time, and then to personalize it takes time too, because you have to look through their profile or look through their information to see what you can connect on, and sometimes that's not all that easy to do because you have to think really hard to figure that out. So I guess my question is, how much time do you typically take to personalize the outreach that you send out to people?
My goal is to send out 10 to 15 a day. And that's after I've done the research. So 10 to 15 emails a day, that'll probably take me 2 hours to actually sit through, craft them. But the work that leads up to that, that's really what I'm getting paid for. I wish I could put a time stamp on how much time I spend doing it, but it's a lot. And I do have I do have a research assistant who does a lot of the pre-work for me. She goes out and she finds events for me. She hands them to me, and then I kind of research, think, is this a good fit or not? And that's where I spend a good chunk of my time. Now, I mentioned that I have another book coming out. I'll be 100% transparent. I haven't done any of the research or outreach probably for the last 5 or 6 weeks through the summer, most of the summer, because most people are on vacation in the summer anyway. And I was busy writing my book. So here it is, September, what? Today's September 3rd. I gotta hit back at it starting today.
Got it. For the people who are watching or listening to this conversation, Maureen, I suspect that they may have some certain things in place. They have a speaking topic that they want to speak on. They perhaps even have some marketing collateral that they've put together. I think a big issue a lot of aspiring speakers have is pricing their services. How should they go about doing so?
Boy, that's like the magic question. There's different ways, and I'm sure your listeners have probably heard from you or from other guests saying some of the same things. We're not a commodity, so don't price yourself as such. Don't say, well, this is what my time is worth per hour, and it's going to take me 2 hours to get there, 1 hour on stage, 2 hours to get home. That's 5 hours. Let's see, I want $200 now, so that's $1,000. We don't price ourselves like commodities. It's not a bottom up pricing. It's really a top down. What does the market bear? What does the problem solve? How can you monetize the problem so that you can monetize your solution? In other words, if I pitch myself, for example, burnout. Burnout is one of the side effects of having imposter syndrome because people are exhausted from this trying to make people think that they're smarter than they are, even though they really are smart. Burnout. What's the cost of burnout? Go find statistics on what burnout costs an organization. Let's say it costs an organization roughly $30,000 in lost productivity per person over the course of a year. $30,000? Boy, that makes my fee look like a bargain. If my fee can solve, a 300, say you have 10 employees, $30,000, that's 300. If my solution can solve a $300,000 problem, certainly I'm worth this fee. That's one way to do it. Another way is to look around at fellow speakers that are in your same market and find out what they're charging and kind of make yourself commensurate with that. Or another way is just state a fee, one that makes you almost vomit when you say it. Because it's like, oh my gosh, that sounds like so much money. And see what the response is. And if the response is, what? You're crazy. Okay, let's negotiate. If the response was, oh, okay, that fits. Oh, doggone it, I left money on the table.
Yeah.
So it's a weird kind of, there's no hard, fast rule for it. I have consistently raised my fee almost every year for the past 4 to 5 years. And I'm at a place, it's a lifestyle. I run a lifestyle business. I do not want to be a road warrior. I want to make a certain amount of revenue. And so I price myself and I activity myself. If that's a phrase, I just made it up. Do the work that it takes to get to that activity, and then I'm good.
Okay, yeah, that totally makes sense, and those are some great strategies to figure out how to price your services for sure. For the people who are starting out, I suspect, well, not I suspect, I've had other guests who say when you start out, you're going to do a whole lot of free gigs or free engagements. And if that's the case, they say that you should negotiate getting something in return, in exchange for you not getting paid for that engagement. What do you suggest people ask for in exchange for not getting paid?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everything we do in every area of our life, we're negotiating for something in return. We only do that which benefits us in some way. Now, in some ways, it's a negative benefit, but if that's all we know, that's what we're going to do. Some of the things that and I still do waive my fee or significantly reduce my fee. for many reasons. Maybe I'm going to get a great video out of the session. Exposure to high level decision makers in my target market. I love speaking to engineers, specifically in the aerospace and aviation industry. In fact, I'm doing a free event coming up in Atlanta because it's got some C-level executives from some of the big aerospace firms. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. Some other things I negotiate is, do I have permission to promote my follow-on products? Can you introduce me to other decision makers? Can you introduce me to people in, your association, other markets, other companies in your association? It's always a give and take. But the video is always a good thing. Access to people's contact information. Can I pass around? Can I have a QR code where they can opt into my newsletter? All kinds of things. I negotiated, it was a client of a snack food company. I negotiated a big bundle of one of their products because I love their products. So I got this huge box of snacks. I wanted a tour of their manufacturing facility, but unfortunately they had just like in the last year shut down public access. They're like, oh, if you'd only come a year ago, we could have given you that. It could be maybe another night in the hotel. It could be an upgrade of first-class airfare. It could be so many different things.
All right. And these other things that you're asking for, would you suggest that just like if you were to be paid, it would be in some sort of agreement, or is it just something that you have, like maybe a gentle woman's agreement?
Oh, I usually document everything. And when I say agreement, it's not like a legal binding contract. It is an agreement of this is what you're going to provide and this is what I'm going to provide. And it comes out in the conversation. I take notes on all the conversations I have, and I just put that into my statement of work / agreement. Now, is it binding? Probably not. I mean, when I ask for LinkedIn testimonials and, they don't give them to me, I'm not going to pester them. You promise, it's in the contract. I just, I guess it's just kind of a show of good faith.
Understood.
Be the easy one to work with. Don't be the pest.
Right. I get that. So you're working on a book. You already have a book. How important is it for a speaker to have a book?
I think I used to think, oh, it's not that important. It really is. Not necessarily to generate sales. Actually, this is my 5th book that I have coming out. 2 of them are on imposter syndrome. The other 3 are on different topics. Not necessarily because they're going to make a lot of money. They could. They just show expertise. They show a work ethic. They show credibility. And they're, in a lot of cases, it's a really high paying, no, that's not the right word. I don't want to even say pricey. It's an investment as a nice business card. I'll give away books all the time. Costs a lot, my little book here. Let's see, where is it? I just put it away and I can't find it on my bookshelf. Oh, here it is, right here. This is my 4th book. This is my 4th book. It's just a paperback book. A good book. I enjoyed writing it. Cost me $3 to print through Amazon, but I'll hand it away as a business card.
All right. All right. So for the people who are listening or watching this conversation, well, think about writing a book. It can certainly help you in showing your thought leadership and in showing your expertise.
And it does, even for people that don't hire me, for my regular friends, my friends that really don't know exactly what professional speakers do, because we have a weird industry. It's really, people don't understand it, and that's fine. People in the industry have a hard time describing it. But when I tell my friends, oh yeah, I just, I'm in the middle of writing my book. Oh, wow, really? You wrote a book? I mean, it's so, in our world, it's like, yeah, who hasn't written a book and who's not writing a book? And, oh, you're writing your 2nd, 3rd, 4th book. My friend Lisa Ryan, I think she's got 20 of them out. But most people don't know authors, don't know published authors. And it's just kind of cool. And it helps to just build your brand. Even if they can't hire you, maybe they know people who can.
Absolutely. For the people who are listening or watching this conversation, Maureen, I get the sense that you start off this journey of being a speaker. You have a full-time job and you're speaking on the side. But I get the sense that for a number of them, the ultimate goal is to quit their job and become a speaker full-time. So what should they have in place before they make that jump?
It's a good question. And just to clarify, I do not work a full-time job. This is my full-time work. Speaking is my full-time revenue. It's really my only revenue, minus a couple of other side little, other revenue streams. But to put into place, have a good speech, have a clear idea of who your market is, have a place where you can go practice, rehearse, whether it's speaking for free or joining a Toastmasters meeting, and have, did I say video? Have a good video. And I know it's kind of or what's the right word? Chicken egg thing. How do you get a good video unless you get on good stages? And how do you get on good stages without a good video? Therein lies the problem. Go create an event for yourself. Get your friends together, get a nice stage set up, hire somebody to do a 2-camera shoot, get you on video, edit together, do the overlays, maybe hire somebody to do all that for you. I would recommend, don't hand make a video. If you don't know how to do video editing, don't hand make a video because it will look handmade. And that will ruin your credibility. But so yeah, speech, a target market, place to practice, a good video.
Yeah. When it comes to
Oh,
making
and I'm sorry, one more thing.
Sure.
You're going to need a CRM. You can only run your business so far on Excel spreadsheets or little yellow sticky notes. It will grow. If you're doing these things, it will grow fast. You're going to need a customer relationship manager software to help you manage who do you need to talk to, when is that meeting, what did you send them last, what's their email address, when's their event. It's just basically a big database. Get a good CRM. I use one called SpeakerFlow. It's built on the Zoho platform and it's built for professional speakers. So plug for SpeakerFlow.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, when it comes to making that jump from full-time employee to speaker, I suspect people are thinking, well, I have this full-time job where I get paid every other week, and now I'm jumping into this world of, well, I have to go out and basically hunt for all the gigs that I get, and there's no backing anymore. And everything it has to be me. I have to pay for everything. So what do I need to have before I make that leap into full-time entrepreneurship or at least full-time self-employment? Do you need to have a certain amount of money set away? That type of thing? But yeah, I take your point about the need for a CRM and having a really great speech and maybe a pipeline of speeches that you're going to be giving as well. But for sure, all that is important.
Yeah, definitely the financial part is significant. You do need to have a way to feed yourself and your family. It does help too to have supportive family or supportive friends. They're not in your ear saying, "What are you crazy? You can't do that." Don't listen to them. Go find the tribe that is like on your side and in your corner.
Wonderful. Well, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for being a guest, Maureen. How can people get in touch with you?
Sure, Neil. Thanks for asking. My website is simple. It's my first name, last initial, MaureenZ.com. Everything you need to know about me, you can find somewhere on my website. My demo video, links to my social media, LinkedIn, some of my other resources, my blog, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
Excellent.
link to my YouTube channel, which I need to put up some more recent videos. It's been a hot minute.
Excellent. Well, that marks the end of another edition of Teach the Geek interviews. My name is Neil Thompson. I'm the founder of Teach the Geek. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Until next time, take care and stay safe. Thanks, Maureen.
Thank you, Neil. Have a great day.